Okay. I'm just trying to find...
You
know what?
You
I'll
search
by...
yeah. Elden Ring. Put Elden
there
Ring.
It is. There.
No. Put here. Let me give you a collection of that. Let me give you a what?
Oh god.
Oh, did you find it? The way your character's eyes just faced down.
What? A wine rack?
That sounds like you found it.
Sorry, I need a moment to process. Yeah, no, you were right. This isn't.
How do you describe it, right?
This isn't knowledge beyond human comprehension. It literally just like locks your brain for a second when you see it. I had a bit of a brain crash.
There's so much going on.
There is so much happening. Why is he proposing to the all I can describe it as is the chosen one is proposing to Rani, who is part
I found the one
breakfast buffet bar? Like
I said, somewhere between cybernetics and Vomit.
And
with a restaurant theme.
And then like above
notice there is lore. Right in the top left
there
corner.
is lore. Why is there lore? I don't an umbrella and bag.
I also like that said lore does not at all acknowledge the situation, implying it to be completely normalized within circumstance.
It doesn't. I just read some of the lore. It doesn't, and I don't. That's the best I got. It doesn't. I don't.
I wonder if these poor souls that have to see this within this, like it's being within the vicinity, they literally can't comprehend what they're looking at. So they're just seeing completely normal, beautiful women. Maybe that's why.
Maybe that is it. Because
it cannot be acknowledged. It simply can't.
This is. You know what? I don't remember the last time I've ever been speechless.
The last time you what?
I don't remember the last time I was ever speechless.
Yeah. So I will admit, I traveled to this particular place on the internet of my own volition on the particular day that I noticed this. It's not what I was expecting to see.
Yeah, why is Oscar here?
Keep in mind that I saw it when it was on the first page, not the second.
And why is Ray here? I don't.
Which ones are you looking at?
Ray and Oscar, like Evangelion, are here, and oh boy, that's an action one. What is going on in here? Why is?
Oh yeah, there's the Nier Automata up top. I knew there was a Nier Automata.
It's almost breaking my brain in a way.
And I do want to emphasize these. Like, if you look at the dates on these. Like if you scroll down a little bit on the image.
Oh my god.
Every single one of them released the exact same day.
Holy shit.
They all released on the 7th of this month.
You know, I think this is a good excuse to become one with the Amish. there's hyperbole. There's hyperbole in comments, right? You've seen comments, and people exaggerate for comedic effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet, looking upon this, is it not completely understandable?
I don't feel like they're actually exaggerating for comedic effect. I think they're actually.
Yeah, like when people say God has abandoned us in response to something, it's like, okay, you're being dramatic. You look at this, and it's like, I love this comment. I don't know if I should be disgusted, dissatisfied, or disappointed.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Oh, did you see the one where it's like, just because you can draw this doesn't mean that you should?
Yeah, like sometimes talent should be hidden.
Yeah. And also, below this comment, like, have you ever seen the ones where they do a caret to like point at the comments immediately above them?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if I should be disgusted, decided, or disappointed. This person below, caret. I'm all three and concerned.
I hope this happens to me in heaven. Which, bro, if you like this, you are straight up going to Warhammer 40k.
This shit managed to lower my expectations for humanity. Shit. Fuck. I appreciate this person here who's like, I mostly agree with the comments, but I also love the prosthetics in all these images. And it's a fair point. The prosthetics are very well designed. There's some cool aesthetics mixed into this. It's just what it's on top of.
The fact that
very well made.
These support the they could feasibly support the
amalgam? The conjoin?
It's the timing of skipping through these, only to just be sitting there going, these only, literally to look down and see a comment that just has the fuck is that?
Yeah, there's several of those.
And it's like, you know what?
Also,
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
The one at the very top, it's not even, I mean, they're all the same day, but the one at the very top on the profile, which is a near one.
Yeah.
It has 15 comments. I appreciate the last comment from Omnimark. This is FromSoft's next game, Gooning Souls. And you know, they're not wrong. It kind of does look like a FromSoft style monster if it was like hypersexual.
If
in a way,
Augustine and Smorg were like just sort of amalgamated into something.
Oh god, did you have to put that in my head?
We've reached a pretty.
I'm very good at visual.
I'm sorry. I will try to keep that in mind. I really will.
No, you're fine. It happens one way. But yeah, go on.
But like, I guess like look at what we're looking at. Can things get any worse?
I just found a new thing to appreciate about this. They're clearly very good at also just drawing normal ass people. Because the normal ass people in the images with these monstrosities are very well drawn.
The proportions are fantastic.
They're clearly good at it.
And I say the proportions are fantastic, please, in context. The proportions of the normal people are fantastic. The proportions of those... Look, anyway, the normal people are fantastically done. They are quite capable of...
Yeah, it's just the most confounding thing about this is just like, it really goes to show just like sort of like how being good at something doesn't necessarily mean that you're or good at others.
Yeah.
Like having high intelligence or great talents or great skill or what have you. Who knows what this person's background is? This could be like a 110-year-old like master artist for all I know. And this person just sort of came out of nowhere and like left this in the amendment. There's no context for who the fuck this is or what their background is or what their experience is. It goes to show that like you can be really good at something. It doesn't, but like just because it's really well made doesn't necessarily mean like that's the thing. These are really well made. This is good art from a point of strictly artistic analysis. I wouldn't say this is, but just looking at the actual contents, can you call it good art? Is this something people enjoy? Like,
look, I'm not one to shame people. I'm not one to look down upon people on whatever turns you crank.
Oh, trust me, I'm a freak. I don't need to get into it, but I'm a freak myself. There's a reason I'm not like running the hill seeing this.
Streets sheets, I go to work and I'm very professional, and inside my own personal life, but like, look, the point I'm trying to make is, what the fuck is this?
That's fair, and I'm not even talking about like sexual appeal of it. I'm just
quite literally
someone who's like, imagine looking at someone who's like, you're biologically asexual, let's say. Like looking at this, removing all appeal, like whether you find it like sexually appealing or not. Completely put that aside. I know it's a little bit difficult with this, but just attempt to, and look at it from strictly a matter of like the artistic standards of it. It clearly shows a very high capacity, but is it good art? Like it genuinely is an interesting question to ask with this, because it has so many elements of quality. Again, like that comment earlier, the prosthetics are very interesting. A lot of like the flag pins and a lot of the clothing, whatever counts as it, is interesting.
The prosthetics would support them. That's what. They're like fanciful, but there is a sense of like center of gravity with a lot of this as well, which is amazing when you look at it.
I hadn't given it much thought. Like I don't know if it would support them well. Like there's a level of fantasy to it, but there is clearly some level of practical consideration.
There is some level of engineering that's going on under the surface here.
Yeah, and but taking all that into account and still looking at it and just being like, this shouldn't exist.
No, it fucking shouldn't.
And if you're looking at an art piece and you're saying like, this should never have been born from someone's brain out their fingers, then is it good art? I think there's a genuinely interesting question there. If it's of incredible quality in terms of skill, but then everyone finds it appalling to observe, except for the original artist. Who knows? Maybe the original artist hated this. I can't say. Maybe this was an exercise in self-harm. Who knows? Can it be called good art at that point? Like, doesn't this kind of present that question?
This is what defines good art, I guess, because this is art.
Yeah.
Is it good? It has artistic merits.
It displays very high artistic acumen.
But on the inside,
like, imagine someone was drawing like concept art for a game company with this level.
I mean, they would be picked up as a concept artist.
They'd be lauded.
but like, what the fuck is this? My brain keeps metronoming between... I'm not even disgusted at this point. It's metronoming between confusion and a somewhat, I guess...
Are you running with like a mental...
Primal fear? Like, that's all I've got is primal fear, like...
Your lizard brain is waking up and being like, no, run, no, bad, no.
It's like some sort of fucking sleeper activation of like, welcome to the real world, Neo. Like, you know.
Is this what was inside the pill?
But and you bring up a fantastic.
This is what Neo saw. This is what Neo saw when he took the pill.
Whoa! It was just like Sesdraw's entire back catalogue flashed in front of his eyes in a few seconds.
It's like,
whoa!
Oh, so this is reality.
I know.
Yeah. Was it the red pill or the blue pill?
It's the redacted sound.
Red pill. Was it the red pill?
Yeah, the red pill.
Okay, yeah, that's alright. Yeah, that's the card that like far right groups like to use. I remember now.
Yeah, it's
the blue pill is having the luxury to not see. But you have to be enslaved in the Matrix for all.
We were starting this conversation, and if I had laughed it off and never inquired, that was my blue pill option.
That it was, my friend. That it was.
And now I have taken the red pill, and I have been shown not so much the light, more like the $2 store crank torch. You know, because seeing the light would imply an invigorating and epiphanic fucking moment. It's not that I don't appreciate it, but you bring up the good point of what the fuck. This is art, but is it good art? And I honestly can't.
Like, good art isn't necessarily like nice to look at in the sense, but I think there's a distinction between nice and visually appealing. Like, you can look at art that like depicts hell, for example. I don't know what that might look like, with like lost souls being consumed by demons. And it might not be a nice vista, but there is a visual appeal in a sense of like it's spectacular.
Saturn and his Son is one that
that's
used to get used
too.
in my my art classes of good classical art that was not nice to look at, or the old war posters like "Stop This Mad Brute," which depicts the Germans as like a giant characterized baboon holding a white woman who was passed out in its arms, and it's got a club with war written on it or whatever the fuck it was. But
kind of stuff, yeah.
It's kind of a terrifying image. It's so detailed in the face and the eyes, and it's got the old, you know, handlebar mustache, and it's wearing the spike hat. And it's actually really well drawn. It's so fucking detailed that it actually invokes kind of a little bit of fear looking at it. This doesn't... I don't know what the fuck this emotion is, apart from confusion.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I would say that it is spectacular in its own way, but I don't know if it's spectacular in that, like, it's a shock to look at. Like, that's a spectacle in a sense. I don't know if it like, unlike Saturn and his children or whatever else, I don't know if it, like, if an art piece actively invests in you nothing but aversion, like, that's the emotional takeaway from it. Like, it's art that makes you actively want to never look at it again.
Abhorrence.
Yeah, abhorrence. That's another good way to put it. Almost aberrant in a sense, alien.
Yeah.
I suppose that's really the crux of it. Is art that makes you actively want to never look at it again good art?
I guess
like, it's the reason you don't want to look at it is in part due to its spectacular quality. But it's a spectacular, that quality is put towards something horrible to look at, and just makes it much more vivid and detailed, and like somehow make both more and less sense to look at for being detailed.
I kind of want to send this to like a bunch of you gonna purr into the mic, Bart? I kind of want to send this to like...
You could always copy paste it and spoiler tag it and fucking admin if you wanted. That's an option. And
just watch the consistent rolling. What the fuck? I kind of want to flashbang a bunch of art professors with it. And just be like, all right, I need your opinion on something, you know, please be prepared for an absolute eye bleaching. But I need your opinion,
you know,
on this.
I would be genuinely curious and put a little blurb at the bottom of like asking one of these same questions. Like, is this like good art? Even though it's
this,
so
air quotes, good art in the traditional sense of, you know.
Because like if they hit them class, those kinds of things are usually great. I mean, I guess there's subject matter specific techniques, what have you, but they're usually graded off the quality of technique, not content.
Yeah. And the technique is like an you know what, I would say 8 out of 10, but you look at some of the close details here and it's edging more towards a 9. There is...
What would you say is a 10 out of 10 for you, Eddie? Like the Mona Lisa or something? I personally think the Mona Lisa is a bit overdone,
but for me, a lot of Picasso's like later works, where he sort of went off the deep end a bit, some of those are 10 out of 10. Or as boring as it is, there's a lot of still life stuff that is so finely detailed that you're looking at a painting and then you look close and you're like, holy shit, there is like light shading on every single grape in this bunch of grapes. Like, oh god, what is it? A Day at the Park? That one? Where it's all like faceless, hard-shaped people, but there's something unnerving about it. Oh god, what is it called? Hang on.
Is it the one with like there's a bunch of, they're like by a river or a lake or something? And
yeah, and there's A Walk in the Park. That's it. A Walk in the Park. Georges Seurat.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty finely detailed.
It's like sharp-edged, you know, stylistic people, but it's so finely detailed in the grass, in the trees, the water. And a study for a Sunday on La Grande Jatte.
I just glanced at your stream on accident because you still have it open and saw what B is. Green boy on the other side of the car.
I mean, I guess because that's a dot painting as well, which is fucking nuts.
I mean, that's really the only way that's one of the few ways you can kind of get detail that minute, is if you're doing it bit by bit like that. Because like, there's not really a brush small enough. You kind of gotta do it dot by dot.
And like one of my close exes is she's very much an artist and very artistic and loves this stuff. I can be like, what's that painting called with so-and-so and they're doing this? And she'll be able to pull it out for me. So she introduced me to a lot of really interesting stuff.
Okay,
and she loves like Rembrandt and Picasso and all the classics, but also the lesser-known classics. So, yeah, you've got friggin' Georges Sorut? I fucking don't know. There's a bunch of fucking stuff like this that just... And like Saturn, for instance, it's not very detailed, but the subject matter is so in your face and so full on that it makes me go, that's fantastic art. That makes me go, holy shit.
It's a piece that is simple, but it holds immense meaning.
Yeah.
Which is another thing to consider. Like, how
to serve man.
Is the portrayal?
Hang on, is that... Hang on, let me find that. Make sure I'm not talking out of my arse here. I mean, Scream... The Scream and, you know... no, not the Twilight Zone fucking... Jesus Christ. Not the Twilight Zone fucking episode, for God's sake.
The things that popular media have done to Google and trying to find classical stuff.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
While you're looking that up, want to hear a little rant of mine on something
Go nuts.
relevant to that?
Go nuts. Oh, women must serve? No. Sorry.
When I say Demogorgon, what do you think of?
I think of the double-headed, squid-armed friggin' gorilla.
Okay, so you're one step further in than most people would be. When I say Demogorgon, most people would think of the monster from Stranger Things.
I actually forgot that it was actually called that.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it's called Demogorgon because it's named after the monster from D&D, because the kids are playing D&D at the beginning of the series. It's actually named after the Demogorgon from D&D, from the one you thought of.
Yeah.
But Demogorgon itself originates before the one from D&D. Demogorgon actually seemingly originates from a typo in a classical poem from the 16th century. A utter misspelling of demiurge, which is in some religious contexts like the god that created all physical reality, and thus seen as it's sort of a satanic figure in a way. And the typo comes about from I think it was like talking about in that poetry or in that like literature. I think actually it might have been philosophical or like religious philosophy in some nature, but it was misspelled, and so but it was in this context of like the great and terrible Demogorgon rather than Demiurge, and so through that typo it created a wholly new demon that people caught on to, and that entered popular literature over time and has appeared in other poems, and even in like ancient, I think it's in at least one ancient bestiary. And generally what it comes down to is a demon of immense power and mystery. Mystery is a major emphasis on it. It's no one knows exactly what it is. It's almost like a demon of the void kind of thing. The great below who sits on the throne of a fathomless hell. And all of that developing from a typo. But a typo 5 centuries.
We're a really weird race.
Isn't that neat?
It's shit like that just blows me away sometimes. Like,
and that's just the theory, but it's the only thing. It's the first time it's appeared, and it's the only thing that seems to make sense. And it does make sense because the wording around it, like say calling it, it wasn't. I don't think it was actually created. It was something kind of like that. I mean, portraying it as powerful and a powerful and horrible creature would make perfect sense for the Demiurge. But in terms of like with how that's contextualized, but Demogorgon is such a similar but different name that it's identifiable as possibly being a serious type of monster of Demiurge. And yet it's distinct enough that it rings as something distinct, and thus was able to be embraced as this new entity that grew in the minds of men centuries. And isn't it? And I almost wonder if that has such a random source might be why it's seen as a demon of mystery, of something unknowable, because it doesn't have any. It has no legends. It has no place in myth. It is a demon god born of a mistake.
You know, the more I look at this, the more I feel like this was born of a fucking mistake.
Yeah. Looks at this art. So this is the Demogorgon?
This is the Demogorgon. Like, Salome with the head of John the Baptist, oil on canvas. There you go. 1575 to 1642. Extremely detailed. It's
what was that name?
It's Salome. Studio of Guido Reni. Salome with the head of John the Baptist. And it's a beautiful. It's actually kind of beautiful. And you can like zoom right into it. And there's so much detailing and shadowing but this is
these people have uncanny faces.
1575 to 1642. That is fucking nuts. The amount of detail that I know it's not like caveman era, but
yeah, art has both come a long way and degraded in some respects. I would say, like if you look,
it's split parallels.
I'm not one to worship classical art. I think it's kind of stupid to do that. But it is, I would say, rather objectively true that, I mean, there's a reason people respect classics as much as they do, because there was some incredible work done by our ancestors.
Yeah.
In a time when technology was so much lesser. In a time when science, in particular, was. It's weird. It's almost like art has degraded in some ways as science has grown, in a weird way.
Yeah.
Think about it. That art was written in a time when we didn't know what the bacteria was, and people were were rubbing like leeches into their wounds to try to
we were rubbing like lead all over our faces to get a white complexion.
Yeah, like that happened at the same time that incredible piece of art. Doesn't that feel like a paradox? And yet, is it not equally a paradox that in a time when we have so much technology and so much capability that we rarely see pieces of that sort anymore? I mean, stylization is embraced in a much bigger way. In part, I would say because of like some level like globalization will spread. Like East Asian designs have certainly infiltrated the West to a great extent. Like with sort of like the anime girl kind of look.
Yeah.
You see that in a lot of fan art these days, even if it's not actually meant to look anime. Like that kind of appearance has become more and more common. I'm not saying it's bad; it just is common. You'd think that we'd be able to make more incredible things with better tools, and yet we really don't, for the most part. And it's all subjective. Art is an incredibly subjective thing, but in terms of like technical standards and like incredible detail, I would say that piece that you just pointed me to, is far superior to the vast majority of what we see.
Oh my god, 2 seconds.
I'll be back. Hang on. 1 second.
Please. Thanks, man.
Sorry, I had to take a moment there. So,
There you go.
I can't get past this fucking thing. I really can't.
I feel somewhat bad for having infected you because it did make me think that. Admittedly, perhaps because I had a stop rolling that. Perhaps because I had seen it on my own, discovered it on my own. I can't say that my thoughts were nearly so philosophical as we are discussing now. I'd say my first response was quite a bit closer to what you are feeling. Of just sort of like, can't comprehend, brain stop, must do something else. And admittedly, I did have other goals at the time, so to speak. So I sort of just focused on those. Now, here's maybe a good way to do this. As another example of like similar vein, sticking to the commandment of the 34th commandment. Let me see if I can find.
I mean, I'm sure we're bound to find. I don't even know how to put it. I guess questionable content. But no. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm just looking at some of the.
At some of the what?
Some of the categories.
Oh, like the tags.
Yeah, there's it starts with L, and it's about the second one down. That's you know what? Why not? Why not?
There's a lot of images here. Are you at the very top one? No, you're not at the very top.
It's okay. It's what these actually come under, what they're classed as. These says draw ones. So that's okay. Okay. Yeah. No. Radio. Okay. So.
Oh wait. An L and then an L space O.
An L, I, and V. It's the series of things that are alive, but yeah, I mean it's basically what Says Draw has done here, except that he's taken it to the extreme. You know, it's Jesus Christ. Every time this image flicks back in front of me, it just... You know... It just... I keep flashbanging myself with this. I can't get past it. It doesn't... It really is stuck in my head of, is this good art? But you know,
okay.
I could rant about that for fucking days, but
that should work. What I just said, you know.
Oh, yep. Okay, I think I see what I was doing wrong. Okay.
I'd be surprised if there was another one that came up that wasn't what I was thinking from that.
I'm not gonna lie, that sort of goes pretty hard.
Like with like the two.
Yeah, like the style. Yeah.
Like this is of a similar quality, but then this I would say is objectively appealing art, and not just because of sexual elements.
No,
it's really cool looking. Like it's got really interesting style and some really interesting stylistic choices for both designs. Like there's some things that I would say there's some things I would say could use some, like the tridents, the little low poly,
the wings, the tail. Yeah, there's little bits and pieces that I would like to see tightened up.
But in terms of like the core elements of it, like there's little bits that could be detailed, yes. But in terms of like the foreground element of piece, it's pretty great. And like talking about a piece that like maybe it's not the most detailed work, like again with the what was the one, the something God eating it? What was that one?
Oh,
wasn't Saturn?
Saturn, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, Saturn eating, Saturn devouring his children.
And like, this is almost the opposite of that eldritch thing I've revealed to you, where it's like, it's technically, like from a technical perspective, it's inferior in most ways, and yet it's much more appealing art and much more interesting to look at it. I would say
it's not abhorrent. It's not
like this is. I would say that this art is, though not by much, from a technical perspective, it's worse than the other art. But I'd say this is better art.
This, to me, this is good art. For no other reason than it's the detailing, it's the stylistic choice, it's the... That...
And just some really interesting like, artistic choices here. Like, I think about, like, not just, again, not even putting aside the sexual elements, I think about this design on the right a lot. Something about like the distribution of kind of like smattering of fur around like the elbows and like upper thighs and calves and stuff. And like the way that's kind of, it's an interesting distribution of kind of more animalistic traits on like the female frame. That's like still comes off as like very interesting and appealing. It's a design I've taken some inspiration from some other characters, for other character designs I've written in my own time.
I mean, the left side seems more, I guess, traditional, whereas the
the right's more out there, yeah.
Yeah, the right has more like a stylistic choicing, whereas the left is more safe, traditional, what you'd expect.
Yeah, more kind of succubus fuck.
Yeah.
And like, there's nothing wrong with that, but like, I find the right to be a really interesting approach to like a lot of elements that, like, I mean, depends on the person, but you wouldn't normally find all that attractive.
Yeah.
For a lot. But it comes off as a very kind of alluring silhouette. And like, notice already, we're already talking about a lot of elements here that we find appealing.
Yeah.
There's nothing to this that like makes you want to look away from it.
And it's interesting, the left side, the left side intent, the right side indifference. There's a lot going on in this.
Yeah, and that's like, yeah, I hadn't really given it much thought, but they had noted somewhat. They're very good at nailing the emotion in this too. Like,
Yeah.
like confidence versus reservation in the body language as well.
Yeah, like very, very open and like the intent is about what I draw from it. Intent is all I've really got, as opposed to just complete indifference and
a lot of very garbage as well.
Yeah,
Somewhere between indifferent and defensive.
It's just almost just like reservation of like, you know, oh, you're the tarnished one.
Which is
as opposed to you're the tarnished one. Yeah.
Yeah. Which all of these things are actually like all those. Have you played Elden Ring?
Yeah. I didn't. I put hours into it, but I didn't even like scratch the surface, to be honest.
Okay.
I was not great at it.
These are both designed based off of characters in the game. I'm sure you've encountered.
Yeah, I've done the lore videos and all the rest. So.
Okay, fair. Okay, so you've spoiled yourself to high heaven.
Oh god,
yeah. And like, but you don't really see these. I mean, obviously, these are different than the characters actually do. You also don't really see them in these stances. I mean, you kind of see Mo dance a bit.
Yeah.
But you don't see Morgoth in anything close to this stance. And yet I would say that both of these do nail on some level their box.
Very much so.
Morgoth, sure, he has an aggression to him, but I would also say that he's quite reserved. He's a rather melancholy man.
He's very
and all he ever does is defend. It's practically his sole purpose is defense. Both of his his home, but also of the things he would hide.
That puts even more. This goes deep. This goes very deep.
Yeah, but then think about that, and then go back to that other arc again. Why the fuck are those characters involved in any of those situations?
And
and then we're in the complete opposite again, where the characters are just sort of thrown in because just like the characters, but then it's like this situation, this repressed cybernetic bullshit is completely irrelevant to the actual characters. It's purely the designs that have nothing to do with who they actually are, except for arguably the proposal on that. That's kind of based on that.
Yeah, it just. You know what?
See what I mean, and see how that's juxtaposed against this stuff with Morgoth. Despite these characters being designs that are based off of those of Morgoth and are highly derivative, they still represent the characters better than those in that other. Is very distinctly the characters, just with their.
It doesn't make a lick of fucking sense. I mean, for instance, let's hang on. Let's pull up the one so I can. Melina, and everything that is happening in that image.
Oh, is one of these Melina?
Yeah. Hang on. Let me go back to the gallery, and I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Visual. 7. Let's say 7.
Oh, I found 8. Her. The one with the saddle.
Yeah. What the fuck? Again, what the fuck? And not in a sense of like, you know, oh my god, what the fuck? Literally, what the fuck is going on? What is the context here? What is happening?
This is so detailed. They even drew eye mark pretty accurately. You barely see it.
Yeah. But like.
Also, why do every single one of these characters have like your version of the L?
It doesn't.
Like on their stomachs.
Yeah. But like, what is
Oh, this is the Warhammer 40K. I hope this happened to me in heaven. Bro, if you like this, you are straight up going.
Warhammer 40K.
It's not a, honestly, it's a pretty good poll. Warhammer. I mean, there is some comparison to some shit that happened in Warhammer here.
Yeah, but you've got like servitors and
yeah, a lot of stuff
cybernetics, cyber organics, body mods,
the dreadnoughts.
But like, you don't have. I'm being a little bit careful here, but you don't have that.
Yeah,
you know,
page.
like
you don't need to speak. You know when you're writing something and like everyone involved knows what you're talking about, so you don't have to use a lot of proper nouns. You can use a lot of pronouns. We're looking at the same text.
You don't need that. You don't get. You won't be turned into that. Like that's an addition. That's a.
There's no
There's no.
Warhammer, at least in perhaps design, are very utilitarian.
Yeah.
This is.
I mean, this is more like
I'm sure that this is design. The designs here are with intent to be utilized, if you get my meaning. But I wouldn't.
Yeah, but how? How? Please tell me how. That does not make it. It doesn't. But then, on the end, like maybe okay. I can see it. Actually,
I think a lot.
I'm seeing your point here. I'm seeing your point. That's definitely.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm really grasping at straws, you know?
Look at the one that's like, I guess it would be the 5th or 6th down with the dogs.
Yeah, that was one that sort of Why are the dogs so shit?
Why are they such a different art style? Honestly, I wouldn't even say they're shit. They're just a completely different art style.
I mean, like
they're
shit in the set. They're not badly drawn, but in the sense of they're shit compared to the rest of it. Like there was no time spent on it. Oh my god!
I mean, they're still drawn pretty well. They're just a completely different art style.
I only just realized what's happening between the back and the front. Like going underneath that. Oh my god! Oh
yeah, like there's a bit of a parallel of position here. You hadn't noticed.
That's And again, what purpose does this serve? I don't understand.
I mean, art doesn't need a purpose, but like also it really makes you make you question, and we have here, what could the cause have possibly been for such a thing to be created, even mentally conceived? How do you even think of something?
I mean, I've thought of that,
and that's not, and normally when you say how do you think of this, normally that's a compliment. It's not a compliment I like very much, but it's meant to be like, oh, that's a brilliant thought. You say about this, it's a pejorative. It's how could you possibly think of this?
I mean, I've thought of that before. Like, how did I come to the conclusion of X, Y, Z?
Yeah.
And it's very hard to quantify. How did I come up with the idea to create whatever? This.
How did you decide that you were a hyper realistic cat bust?
Well, exactly. I mean, and I can tell you, I opened. This is one of the anime's defaults, basically, that I just sort of tweaked. But I saw him and went, That looks exactly like my old cat. You know what? Let's make him my old cat, or based off my old cat. And now, one of my latest cat looks like this. And so I can trace it back. But then there's times where I've had creative brilliance and been like, how the fuck did I come up with that? And I can't pinpoint the moment. This...
It's nothing but that question. It's all that question.
It is everything. It is nothing. It is everything in between. Because... And it's not one image. It's this is...
This one has quotes.
The questions just keep coming because it's like... That's not just one image. It's a series of images.
But this one... Okay, no, wait. This one has a quote from the game. From Elden. It's one of the Raya. And what's with this really proper capitalization?
Why is that? Hang on, let's...
It's weird. It's like they were trying to write fancy, but they're not actually that good at English.
Oh my god, I just hit the view original. And,
what did the view original... I mean, it made the image bigger.
Yeah, and it just... I sort of flashbanged myself again. Because I wasn't prepared for, like, how... Boom! Like, Vine boom sound the moment I hit it.
I can't tell if this is because of the low quality on my tablet, or if this person doesn't know what it is. No, I guess that's...
I'm starting to see... I can come to a bit of a conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
This is not good art overall.
Like the artistic skill behind it is like taking what's the it's used in like college applications nowadays. Holistic. Like taking holistic, taking in all the factors.
Yeah, it's like
the artistic composition of it doesn't negate the content, I suppose. Actually, that's another interesting thing. It's normally when you see art that you'd say is good, the artistic value of it complements the content. Not often you see one where where they are actively working against each other.
It's like a Beyblade battle, They're just constantly running into each other and bouncing off.
Let it rip. There's certainly plenty of boards. There's certainly plenty of boards. I'll just say that.
You fucking beat me to it.
Oh, there's the wine rack top.
Yeah, hang on. I'm gonna bring up the wine rack because I need to see that again. It doesn't.
Do you now? Do you need to see it?
I don't think I need to. I don't.
But you're going to. It's curiosity.
I don't want to, but my morbid curiosity wants me to. Like now, I'm zooming in. Okay, full size. This is not great art. It is good art. It is not great art.
Yeah, it's like painted, isn't it?
Art professors would probably rip this a new one. Not, overbearingly bad, but they would point out a lot of missing details and a lot of quick work that...
Oh yeah, I'm glad you pointed out the original image. It's actually... It's like...
There's parts that have had...
It needs to be seen from a distance, otherwise it gets all smudgy and undetailed.
There is parts that have had...
It's almost like an optical...
Yeah. Like, there really is parts that have... high detail, like the eyes, the hair, the faces. And then there's parts that are just very quickly thrown together, seemingly. I don't know, it's a bit of a mishmash.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of that. Not ever often. Oh, nice detail that this Hayeda one has Shiburi grapes. I.e. French. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Oh.
Yeah.
It's
getting
impressive how quickly it. Well, I mean, but then it's the same thing as like dot art at the end of the day. Like if you zoom in too much on like something made of dots, then like art, a lot of art pieces aren't really meant to be looked at that closely. Like for a lot of statues, for example, like there's some statues from the Renaissance where it's like the eyes are done in a really weird way, or they're looking in different directions. But it's done specifically so that the shadows cast, and like it's a matter of like looking at it from a specific angle, so it looks better than the eyes actually. So a lot of art is illusion. So I don't know if the art looks good at the distance it was designed to be seen at. I don't know if it's necessarily fair to judge it too harshly for its minor details that only appear when you look at it under microscope. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Like, sure, it could be more detailed, but we only noticed those minor things when we weren't looking at it, when we literally like imagine you're looking at the Mona Lisa and you wanted to be sure it was actually that deep. So you got up and smushed your face up against the glass. Got real good looking, real deep in there. Is that the right way to look at the Mona Lisa? Maybe you'll notice a flaw. Maybe you'll notice like a weird smudge somewhere. You have to get real close to do it. Is that fair to the art?
That's a fair point. I'm still finding it hilarious that we're discussing like art philosophers over this.
I mean,
I think
we're kind of right, and yeah, we're not wrong to. Like, I think a lot of
it's definitely not wrong to. It's just,
and yet it's
sort of
the fact that
absurd.
The subject matter that it is. I mean,
it's just
it makes for an interesting
I almost feel like
it's not boring. I think this is more entertaining just than if debating whether or not whether we're debating like the Mona Lisa versus Bored Ape NFT or something.
I kind of wish I could. I probably can't. But I almost want to make a VOD out of just Agent philosophizes over art with proof. Like, because I would have to edit it so it'd have, well, if you type in and then, because that, or it'd be like, every time we say the names, it would just flash up with warning, you do this at your own risk. Like, I am not responsible for your loss of sanity. Because this is...
Make the VOD like almost like a... Almost like... I mentioned analog a lot, but like where in like an analog YouTube series where it's like there's like almost meta stuff that pops up on screen that's like a flash of like a new face or something.
Because like this is really good. This is great discussion. I consent.
All right,
I am gonna have to like blank out tags and names and because people will be like, oh, I want to go follow along. Fuck.
oh yeah, you're. No, I did outright say the thing, didn't you? Didn't I?
But that's okay.
I probably should have done that.
It is fine. I will just like.
I mean, if people go after it on their own,
you know what? If people want to go and find it on their
Like-
own, that's fine. Go fucking nuts.
There's
You
all
may
kinds of shit you can say. I didn't drag it in here. I said
Exactly.
it. And you dragged yourself too. That's it.
It's you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him see what the fuck we've seen.
You can lead a horse away from water, but you can't force it from dragging your ass back to the water.
I mean, this is after the initial flashbang. It does bring up some enthusiastic responses in my brain, and not in the
that's fair.
like why are Oscar and Ray in here? Why are 2B and frickin' what?
Yeah, confusion. That's another big thing I'm bringing about.
I constantly keep getting more and more confused about what is going on here.
If there's one thing it does have going for it, in a sense, it is memorable. I did remember it. It's hard to forget. I don't know. That doesn't necessarily mean it's positive. There are a lot of things that are hard to forget, but it has impact. Whether or not it's good that it has impact or not is another question, but it does have impact. It is memorable.
I'm fully expecting to have some sort of like Vietnam flashback at some point. It's like
you're never gonna look at a fancy restaurant again.
20 years from now, it'll be like, you know, Elden Ring remastered, and it'll just you get like the
it's gonna be one of those things where it's not the Elden Ring element. Let's be honest, it's actually very Elden Ring, at least emphasized. What's gonna trigger it is like you're gonna be at like a fancy restaurant, someone's gonna bring out like a real big fancy bottle of wine, and that's what's gonna trigger.
Just it all goes like black and white, and I'll hear your voice.
That or maybe looking at a dairy.
And it'll just, the world starts spinning and everything becomes muffled, and I hear your voice talking to me about, well, it does bring up a good point. It's just, fortunate son's playing loudly in the background. Like, it's just... Oh my god. This
it's funny how why did I even bring this art up in the first place? I don't remember.
Now I've got to play the VOD back just to
we were talking about things that we couldn't see on. Oh yeah, you brought up Sandy and the like.
Yeah. It's my fault.
The hairy adjacent genital adjacent.
You know what? I am gonna destroy my. Hang on, no, we're gonna do this in a private window because I don't.
Is it time for the search history?
It is time to let me see if I can actually. Can you imagine? I can't imagine the people at like DuckDuckGo have like a flag hit where you're typing for things that go boom, or things like that. I would love for somebody to get like it's just like a boop boop, and they just lean over and see what the fuck is like a search for. And they're just like, I think excuse me? Well, okay. I did come across...
I am trying to find... 15 years ago? Is that what you're doing?
Look, it's out there. You can't tell me it's not. I did find an amazing image of a gorilla that has slides... Hang on, because it's a safe image. Don't worry.
I don't care what you send me on this. The computer's your risk. It's not like when anything's gonna travel. Just let you spoiler tag it so someone looking over my shoulder doesn't see something they should not. I don't. Feel free to send.
Hang on. I'll make it even easier. We're just gonna, because this is, I don't know, something about this image just goes hard, which is, I don't know why my brain thinks that. And there we go. It's on stream. So enjoy
it's
that.
On stream? It's
on stream.
I wasn't expecting live action.
Look at this motherfucker. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why that
there's
image
a staircase
just
going into the back.
Yeah, like,
this looks like someone's DIY project. Like someone took like a monkey from like a carnival, a monkey statue from like a defunct carnival, took some slides, cut some holes to attach the slides to, and got like the stairs from a fire tap to attach to the back.
I mean, it does not look like it was supposed to be. Again, we come back to like how did this creativity come about? Who? Sorry, there's Godzilla with a massive fucking dumpy on my screen. I'm just scrolling down. Jesus Christ, that's thick as fuck.
One is something pretty funny. One of my first like interactions personally, like in like a back and forth conversation with Poxy, also involved going to the 34th Amendment. In a way, like it was much shorter form but there are parallels.
It is.
Oh, I remember what it was. It was figuring out how many things popped up for if you put both the Godzilla and Hatsune Miku tags. That's what it was. We were discussing it because of Fortnite, because Godzilla and Hatsune Miku were like a thing for it, but then they were like added to Fortnite around the same time.
Oh
and
my God.
You had a bunch of Godzilla fighting Hatsune Miku, and it was like, how often are these two shipped, or something like that. I can't remember the full context, but that was what inspired us to check the validity of the 34th Amendment of the internet in that capacity.
I actually. Okay, well that's something. It's not the image. It's not even close to being as horrific.
Oh, and
it's just what the fuck.
I think there were like 7 options when we looked it up. One of them was the Godzilla element was just a guy in a Godzilla costume in the art, which is pretty funny. Another one was Godzilla and Godzilla's side. It was mostly glands.
There is a lot more of these than There it is. There it is. I found it. There it is. There is a lot more of these than I thought there would be. But nope. There we go. There was somebody else. Good God, this is exactly what I was looking for.
Someone else was looking for it.
Someone else has been searching for this.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's look, it's Jesus Christ, it's amazing to actually just on a related tab that I was looking through. I refuse to accept full responsibility. Well, that's too damn bad.
Hey, you said that it looks like an incredibly well-drawn piece of work that like took a week or weeks to make or something. It's not like a virus can chase it. If you want to put it in a spoiler tag and send it to me on Discord, I won't hold it against you.
Look, I'm gonna
like don't send me the link to the website, but if you want to like copy the image.
Hang on. Let me make sure that I actually. How the fuck do I spoil this shit? Because I don't want to fucking flashback.
When you paste the image in the top right, there's like a little eye. Like.
Yep, and the eye spoiler. Okay. It is less detailed than I remember, probably because of trauma. Let's face it. I've come a long way in dealing with things since then. But it's also somehow worse than I remember in some ways. Like, you know...
Like, worse in quality or worse in terms of content?
Worse in terms of content? It doesn't hit as hard these days, but, you know... Alright.
Well, I mean, look at the internet these days.
Look, I'm gonna... Bomb has been planted.
Okay, let's take a look here. Oh, one of these types.
Yeah, you know, like...
Well, it's weird. I feel perfectly calm, but somehow there is like a feeling, like a slight feeling like I need to...
Right? It is not just me. There is some sort of fight or flight going on. And not like a heavy reaction, not a...
It's just like there's an instinctual... I think I get what you were talking about now. Like there's something primal. There's like an instinctual aversion here.
There is just something to it that...
It's like... Like, also, it does invoke a very similar aversion to, like, how you kind of have an instinct, there's an instinct to avoid feces, and there's a reason for that, because, like, those who have that, they can get bacteria, you can get sick, so, like, it's kind of natural that you evolved an instinct to avoid things that, like, you think would kill you in that way.
Yeah.
And, like, feces are a commonality. This whole image, not even just the part relevant to that, evokes that instinct.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. There is just, there's abhorrence, right? This isn't abhorrence. This is fear of some kind. This isn't disgust and...
Switch off of that and back so that the spoiler tag goes back in fridge. just to be safe.
You know what? Let me just... There we go. That for the both of us, because God knows we're gonna be like, spoiler. Hang on, why did you? Oh, there.
Someone hacks my profile.
You just leave it as like a landmine forum.
Yeah, hack my profile now, bitch.
It's like spoilers. I bet it's nudes. It's not.
No, it was. It was new.
It was. Well,
not new.
It's just like, congratulations, fucko. Enjoy.
But yeah, I've seen
a new hand touches the beacon.
God damn it! You have to reference that. Did you? God, that's a good comparison. It's stuck with you forever.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen the one? But have you ever seen the ones that, like, have a character doing, like, Looney Tunes style, like, eyes extend out in surprise, bulge and surprise type look, but it's with, like, a art style that's, like, way too detailed, so it looks completely out of place and uncanny? Have you seen those?
I have not seen it. I can immediately
I see them around
it.
every once in a while. Yeah, it's like that Looney Tunes effect, but on like...
But like way over detailed.
Way over detailed on like a character completely different style, and maintaining that character's art style except for that. I would have no idea how to look. I don't know what tags it would be. I can't remember fandoms it would be in. I just know that I encounter it on occasion, and it's always...
Hang on. Let's have a look here. I guess...
I mean, maybe like bulging eyes or something. Like, that might be a tag.
Yeah, it doesn't... What if... Well, this is of course going to give us all the wrong...
I want to sit in the window and watch the trees go by. seven.
You know what? Yeah, let's...
You gotta go higher. Yeah, back up just a little bit. Your eyes clipping through. It's right.
Oh,
Not like back up towards the edge.
there we go.
Yeah, there we.
Now I have the nice... I have the view of the trees and us. And this doesn't... No, this is not work. What the fuck is that tag? Quite literally,
Trust
what
me,
is that tag?
There are some interesting ones. There are some interesting ones. I sometimes think about the... You know the ingenious gold mask from Elden Ring?
Yeah.
I still sometimes think about a piece of art I saw, and it wasn't even really not safe for work art, like no more so than Gold Mask is normally being most nude. But it was like someone put the femboy tag on it, and there was a comment on it pointing out, it's like, okay, fess up, who the fuck put the femboy tag on Gold Mask? It's just like, it's just such a little thing, but like it lives kind of in my head. It helps that I really love Mask as a character. Bugger doesn't kill in a Souls game, doesn't kill literally anybody except for possibly himself, and manages to like get the best ending in the game.
You know what? I cannot find this. I don't know what it would be.
What a Chad. Yeah, let me... I admit to having particular website. I'm sorry, amendment of the internet. And actually that is accurate. His skill does extend on this website.
I mean, I've been around. I've been on the internet since like '97, so there's not
for the,
many.
Also for the record, and like this doesn't matter to me at all, but I feel like I should say, how old do you say you?
42.
42. You're nearly twice my age. I'm 23.
And so this is... I've seen and done things in all these years, right? But that's new to me. That is new to me. That new to me. I got to tell you that.
Bulging eye. Hey, you know, there's a spice to life, you know?
Yeah. Is it? Don't be sad that it's over. Be happy it happened. But has seeing this made me a better person? Absolutely fucking not. Has it made me a worse person? No. It's a new experience. Not exactly one that is for everybody, let's face it, but...
Tongue might... Don't mind me.
Bulging eyes. No. Bulging eyes?
It really is less common. I know it exists.
What the... Whatever the fuck is going on here.
Bomb. R15 for Long Island.
You know, I never got a lot of this stuff. But then I don't know.
On fire. A lot of them involved fire. Distinctly.
all I can think of is
Well,
the
tongue's not gonna stuff, but
it's the old Looney Tunes sound effects going off, like the old Awooga horn, suddenly breaking out into these hyper realistic bulging eyes. It's some Roger Rabbit fucking shit.
okay, that's just genuinely a giant fucking eye. That is not tag.
I do keep coming back to why. Why and how?
Well, I mean, there is one app, which is the 34th Amendment of the Internet itself. If it exists.
I mean, if it exists, yeah. But
And strictly speaking,
excuse
that
me.
should apply to every combination.
True. But then
again, that excuse exists for everything. So thus, it kind of comes all the way back around.
yeah. Why? Why?
Maybe huge eyes? Huge eyes.
Pop out eyes? No, hang on. But like, why?
That's a good suggestion.
Let's see. Why?
They'll probably bring up some.
Oh, eyes popping out. This is not really.
I guarantee there's going to be some just straight up.
Yeah,
I'm looking for it, but like from this one.
search these days is just so shit. Really is. Eyes out of frame.
That one would be like selfie stuff. Like when you like an eyes down look in a mirror or something.
No. Okay, yeah, now I see. I was literally like, wait, what? But no, it's okay.
That one I imagine is. Oh wait! I found one.
There's
there's another comment. I wonder what the author thinking. Oh wait, this okay, this author has a fair amount of stuff that's like their thing. Okay, then yeah, they're a perfect example. I'm gonna message you the author's name, and you'll see exactly right.
I keep coming back to the same search results. It just keeps looping around.
You can come back to the same search result. You're cutting it.
It's like search is so broken these days across like pretty much every search engine I've found.
Oh, are you searching straight up in Google?
Not Google.
In DuckDuckGo or whatever?
DuckDuckGo.
Because I'm searching in the website itself.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could find like a wider net, just to. Because I figured if you're on this you're on this one, and then
this person specializes in names. If you type them into the search on that website.
Okay, let's.
Every one of their pieces here has some.
Jesus Christ, this is. It's really. It's really something, isn't it?
The name or the art?
Yeah, the art.
Yeah, okay, so you see it.
I
feel like this. I love this comic. I feel like this would appear in the Bible as one or two of the demons that come around the rapture.
it's
After looking at this image, I transformed into a snack with bronchitis. Interesting.
Alright, who introduced the TikTok comment section to kids to Rule 34?
God damn it, why is that so accurate?
Jesus. It just...
And again, well drawn. High artistic skill.
It's...
And honestly, a lot of things that would be very complex to draw. Like, there's a lot of contortion in this that are like really hard angles.
Dear Lord, this... Look, why they've got him like twisting over in like a...
Yep.
Yeah, and the mouth and the...
And it's interesting. It's clearly not beyond the eye, like the weird eye stuff. They seem to have relatively typical interests. Like a lot of this art is like otherwise pretty normal for this site, but then it's just like the eye thing is just mixed in.
Oh, it's just... I mean, apart from the fucking why, like the very first one, you know, live reaction, just it's so insanely silly. Everything about all this is so insanely silly.
Okay, now you're cutting out a lot at this point.
Oh god. So like, I think that it's something about this connection is going up and down at the moment. I don't know why. It's
Yeah,
insanely silly. It's
Silly
just...
good.
Oh my god, hang on. It might actually be the game is breaking up. There we go. Let's see if it's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. Everything about it is ridiculous.
Just a moment, let me. Yeah, it's cartoonish and weird and silly and grotesque in like a grotesque way.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's a type of physicality that you see in cartoons that you wouldn't expect of that art style. And there are ways to do that in an interesting fashion. There's actually recently played around with in One Piece. You know anything about anime?
Yeah, I saw the
Gear 5 stuff. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Ichiro Oda, the manga, he has he's talked about that in that he has a distinct appreciation for sort of the old style of cartoon that he feels has been lost with modern comics, with like that sort of silly physicality and like very loose, free drawing that's not bound by physics. And so he decided that he would he literally designed a power system that had a lore reason for behaving that way as kind of a way to reclaim it within his own art. But I think it's very interesting.
Yeah. Because, I mean, isn't Luffy supposed to be, like, rubbery?
Yeah, he's made of rubber.
Yeah.
Luffy, not Luffy.
Luffy.
But, Yeah, and like that's the whole. It's the. But yeah, it is built off of that element. And like the Gear 5 stuff is just going for that. And I think that's pretty cool. That's an interesting way to do that. And it perhaps more importantly, it has an in-world reason that justifies how and why the character is like this, this element of the character with and it has like it doesn't do like the bulging eyes in like this grotesque way, but it has these images where it's like these eyes like go out in discs of multiple sizes.
Oh,
like, that classic thing from cartoons. It'll do that.
Like the accordion eyes,
yeah,
sort of.
And it's like it's completely out of place. But because there's an in-world reason why his everything around him becomes ridiculous whenever he's using that ability, it makes sense. Like there's a justification. That's like there's an answer to the why. Whereas when you're looking at art like this, it doesn't tell. It's like art can a single image was worth 1,000 words. I think there's genuine worth to that saying.
Yeah.
A good image at least. And like and in that sense, I mean, take it from a writer. You can write a story in a lot less than 1,000 words. Like an image can tell a whole story in just that single image, even without any dialogue or what have you. The images we were looking at don't tell a story. There's no, I mean, they tell some stories. Like there's some basic social interactions, like res draw images and stuff, but it's like it's nonsensical. There's some. It's almost like the other had some kind of internalized lore. Or not almost. They did. You can see it in the like lore bubbles and some of that. But it doesn't explain the thing that we are really asking, which is why do they look like that? Similar way with the eye thing. Why do they look like that? Why is this just thrown in? And the answer is it just sort of is. There's no actual answer to it. That's at least not that's spoken in the image. So I would say that's the difference between like those two different portrayals of sort of like that out of place cartoonishness in an animated medium, illustrated medium, that otherwise would not accommodate. There is one has an answer, not.
It's sort of. It's given me a lot to think about, actually.
And yet, still valid.
Exactly.
I still think it'd be funny for you to send those images to a bunch of people, be like, and ask that question.
I feel like I want to do that now. I feel like I want to send it to like some high level professors. Like reach out to them first and say, look, some of these images are pretty confronting. You know, you may not be prepared for them, but in saying that, I would really like to get your opinion on, is this good art? And if they agree to it, and I'm going to say, look, I hold no responsibility, but here they are.
Who's the head of the art department at Harvard?
Yeah, like people like that. I feel like I want to just shotgun random university people and just be like, I would love to get your opinions on this.
Critique this, please.
Critique this. And then, for the past year or so, half a year, don't worry, I won't get into a long tangent on this one. I want to take every opportunity, right? And us sitting here saying like, you know, is this art? And then I imagine me sitting in a Zoom call as I am as a virtual cat, having this big debate against like 6 fucking university professors, and like, you know, is gentlemen, time is it is Mr. So and so's time for the floor. You have 15 minutes, and they're all like talking about why it is or isn't this like good art, what makes it good art, you know. It's going from like shit post to like
a part of me worries that they would just dismiss it, but at the same time, how could they? Like, it's so
it's a
distinctive.
burning question, isn't it? I truly think some of them that would be like, come on, you gotta be shitting me. And I'd be like, no, seriously, like here is a discussion that we had on why it is or isn't good art.
Yeah, and then like you go into a bit of a summary of like,
yeah,
it is like it is very technical. Like it has just a high level of artistic
it has a high
capacity,
level,
but then,
it has a high detail, but
then the actual content of it is
the actual content is too confronting and too abhorrent to be considered as good.
It's in no way appealing to the eye. There's nothing.
No.
Can good art be something that you actively want away from?
And then it turns into some massive fucking YouTube essay where I'm literally sitting there talking to a bunch of fucking art professors on like why.
Yeah. Imagine this gets publicized and then the actual like
the actual university as they're like, excuse me.
Like, why are you discussing my weird
like
hey, if you follow up on that, I would be fascinated to hear what happens.
I may very well. I think it's going to be one of those things that starts burning away inside of me, and I've got to do something about it, because if I don't,
hey, as long as you offer your disclaimer as well.
Exactly. It's going to be. I will have a form email that will say, look, this stuff. You know, I'm not just going to fucking flashbang you with it. It is confronting is the word I would use. But I really, really do want your opinion on this. And I am serious, and this is not for a thesis, this is not a publicized essay. It is literally just help a brother out here, you know? And see what they say. Because I'm sure at least a couple would actually take the bait and be like, alright, I'll bite, here you go. Because it would be too much for them. I know these people. Some of them.
It'd be a novel situation.
Yeah.
It'd be a novel situation. Yeah.
And I could see them turning it around on me and being like, well, you're a virtual cat. And then like going off on some fucking, why am I artistically different? Am I? What if I am the art is coming from inside the stream?
When the thoughts begin.
I beg you, Professor, don't do this to me. Yes, but are you alright?
I do maintain my consent for you to do like a sort of
I am definitely going to do like some sort of like cut down version with a lot of our disgust and, you know,
I do think that'd be funny.
Revulsion sort of cut down. You know,
there's a lot. I mean, I wish I could give you my perspective. There were, I'm not recording. There were a lot of good points where it's like you went silent and then your robot's eyes turned down like deep in thought. that happens several times.
That introspection of like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, and I didn't ever get a chance to ask about it. Too late. It's too late now. But I might message a question. But again, I still do what I'm looking forward to starting streaming sometime in